Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're having a great day, great night. My name is Brianna, and today I'm just going to give a little update, garden talk, life talk, baby talk. I don't really know how this is going to go. We're just going to talk out here and see how it goes. But yeah, garden talk. What I'm currently doing is I am cutting these little pieces of pipe. They're going to go onto my drip line and have these little nozzles. So I've gotten one done so far. So you clip this into the drip line where you'd normally put like your drip hole, and then you have this top. It will spread out like a sprinkler more. It's better than drip line because drip line will just do one spot. You're gonna soak it longer, and it's not as efficient. Where if you have this and then it sprays out, you can get a farther area. You don't have to soak as long, and all that. So what I've done is, because last year I already did the normal, BB's right here. Back to drip line. So last year I did normal drip line, little drips. And the problem, again with these, they don't go as far. So instead of doing all new line, because I don't want to waste this, what I'm doing is I'm just removing every other one and putting in these. I think last year we still had each of them going, so they were kind of dripping. But you could just technically turn them off. I just don't know if I ever did that at first or not. But these are enough. You're doing 24 feet apart on the pipe and then put them in. So I'm just going to doing these to put them on these things, the little sprayers. You guys, I don't have technical names for anything, but all you do is you take like a lighter, something hot, get it hot, and then just pop it on. If you need to, you can always reheat it up a little bit to get it where you need. But then you have it on here. You have it with these little connectors. So took one out right here. Then I just take the bottom part and plug it right in there. And then you just put that into the ground and all that. So I gotta do these with a lot of them. So that should be fun. Keep me busy for a bit. Anywho, life. So we recently moved into this rental. We're gonna be here for about another year. We're not sure where we're going next, but just some close family friends. We're out of their home for a year, and they're going on a church mission, and so they let us stay in their house, watch over it, rent it out while they're gone. Great people, and we're just so blessed that we were picked to be able to do this. Because they are gardeners too, so we've been able to use their giant garden. We have some chickens and some rabbits, so those have been nice, that we've been doing. Yeah, so we've been able to kind of slowly grow a little farm. Our main end goal would be have a giant. We'll have our own land. I don't know what that will be, because yeah, I'm just really picky because I don't want to be anything like buying a house that doesn't, but maybe we just need to like find the in between middle ground. I grew up and on like 12 acres, we had a lot of land. Did stuff on, so that's kind of what I'm hoping for to raise our little boys. Is something similar, but as of right now, I don't even know if that's possible, because anything with a lot of land, I don't want to get into such a big payment and then we're stuck in it and can never get rid of it. Not get rid of it, but you're in such a big like mortgage that you're just like stuck in this big payment, and it just seemed impossible. So I don't really know what the next goal. We still have another year, so it will be good until then. But tangle up. We are loving it here. It's just been nice to have a lot of extra space than we were before. We were in a small town before, but like in the neighborhood, and I don't like neighborhoods. I like my space, and I like being. My main goal, honestly, if I could, is to have like no neighbors around, no one else. Here, they're still like kind of close, which would be fine. I'd be okay with that, but like no one around would be great. But again, are we able to find some land And like we could find land, but it also needs to be somewhat close to where Logan works. And because he's a machinist, usually like you'd be somewhat kind of close to some cities for a machinist. It couldn't be like forever remote. But it all depends. Like there's different types of machinists, different things they do. So it just depends what he does. But currently we need to kind of be somewhat close, and they're still small towns, so don't get me wrong. So we're fine there, but it also depends on the prices. I don't know everywhere else, but here in Utah, they priced. Yeah, they really went up since the vid and all that crap. So, you know. But yeah, being a mom, I have 2 little ones. Our little youngest here, he's a pretty chill kid. Normally he'll just like lay and play. Right now, he's a little more fussy, but mostly I think he just wants to be on his belly. Ow! Don't know what that was. Be on his belly. He loves to hold his head up, but he doesn't like full tummy time. He wants like to be on me with tummy time. So I guess it's modified tummy time. But whatever works, so he doesn't cry, will do, and I can get stuff done. I think I mentioned I want to do a garden tour, but I don't have quite everything in. We just got back from... We just got camping for Memorial Day, and my tomatoes, I didn't fully water, not tomatoes, tomatoes are in the ground. My peppers, a lot of them had died a while back, and so I went and bought some, and I normally bottom water, and so these peppers in particular, I hadn't had in a bin too. It was just in the tray that we bought them in, and I was just like, they'll be okay for a couple days, but I came back and they're a little droopy, so I want them to get some water, and then I'll plant them once they're not so droopy, because I don't want to plant droopy plants. So like maybe it's fine, but they're in the greenhouse right now, and I just thought I would wait for that to happen. Honestly, I don't even know how many of these I need. This is probably plenty. I'm just keep cutting. But no, I know this, or I've said this before. I know this. No, I said this before, is you also don't need like a perfect garden. You don't need a perfect setup. I feel like we're really blessed. Everything is super pretty here. It's already set up really nice, and so we haven't had to do a lot of work. But if you are starting out, or even just at any point, your garden doesn't have to look perfect. As long as it's growing and doing stuff, like that's your main goal. So yeah, you can have nice beds, you can have a really nice setup, but the most important part is that you have stuff growing. So that should be your main focus in your garden, is just getting everything to grow, then be aesthetically pleasing. Like even garden beds are nice to specify, but like I grew up, you just had like a flat piece of ground, just till it up and then do your thing. And honestly, you don't even till up. I've looked at stuff now where you don't even really need a till. It actually, doing that to the ground sometimes can be worse. So it just depends on what you're doing and your type of gardening. But no, just start where you're at. Start with what you can. Maybe your first year, you're just going and planting stuff from the greenhouse. You're getting a few things. But no, I know this, or I've said this before. I know this. No, I said this before, is you also don't need like a perfect garden. You don't need a perfect setup. I feel like we're really blessed. Everything is super pretty here. It's already set up really nice, and so we haven't had to do a lot of work. But if you are starting out, or even just at any point, your garden doesn't have to look perfect. As long as it's growing and doing stuff, like that's your main goal. So yeah, you can have nice beds, you can have a really nice setup, but the most important part is that you have stuff growing. So that should be your main focus in your garden, is just getting everything to grow, then be aesthetically pleasing. Like even garden beds are nice to specify, but like I grew up, you just had like a flat piece of ground, just till it up and then do your thing. And honestly, you don't even till up. I've looked at stuff now where you don't even really need a till. It actually, doing that to the ground sometimes can be worse. So it just depends on what you're doing and your type of gardening. No, just start where you're at. Start with what you can. Maybe your first year, you're just going and planting stuff from the greenhouse. You're getting a few things from your local greenhouse. You plant a couple things, even if it's just some pots in your little apartment. Just do that. Maybe the next year you get some seeds from somewhere and you plant some seeds early and then you get them going. Maybe you go with some normal varieties your first year or your second year, and then you add upon some fun ones, different tomatoes, different colors. Just do what you can, do a little bit at a time, don't overwhelm yourself, especially if you have little babies. Just do what you can. Sometimes you go a little overboard because you get too excited. I did that with my tomatoes this year when I was pregnant, and I just waited for my baby to come. I get plenty more and more tomatoes, and I ended up overplanting tomatoes. So since I did that, some family members got some of my tomatoes because I ran out of planting room, which is, I think, kind of funny because I have a lot of planting room for tomatoes. Yeah. So we're gonna have a big harvest of tomatoes this year. We're gonna have a lot, which will be nice because then I can make tomato sauces and diced tomatoes and all the other types of tomato stuff. I need to do more ketchup too. My first batch that I tried of ketchup didn't work out. Just the pot, my stock pot burns really easy, so when I do it next time I'm not going to do it in there because it ended up having like a smoky flavor. So when you have it just by itself, it's like you can kind of taste, it's like burnt, but honestly it doesn't taste as burnt as I would think. It tastes just more smoky. So I don't usually eat it, or we don't use it as ketchup, but I'll put it into recipes, like if I'm making a barbecue sauce or Sloppy Joe's that calls for it. I can put it into there and it just kind of adds to the flavor instead of like ruins it. So that's what I've done with that because I hate wasting things, especially as much work as I put into that ketchup. I'm like, I'm not letting this ketchup go to waste. We're using this ketchup and it's going to be useful. So, that's even another thing. Sometimes you have to waste, you just reuse it for something else. And it works. And it's great. Instead of throwing stuff out. Now, sometimes you have to. My sourdough start just was not working that well. And so I just restarted it and did a new one. But when I was struggling with it, I was like making bagels and breads and different stuff, and they weren't working out like they should. So my bagels were really flat, and I was just like, I don't want to waste them. So they're just really flat, and if you just throw them into the toaster and eat them like that, like, they're fine. They're not my favorite, but they're gonna work because, again, I don't want them to go to waste. Or like my bread was so dense because it didn't rise because of all that. So it's in the freezer right now, but my plan is to take it and crumble it up and then make breadcrumbs out of it. So then it doesn't go to waste. I can still use it, but use it for something else than originally planned. So that's the fun thing about stuff, is figuring out what you can and can't do with things. Getting creative with them. I also just love looking around where I'm at. If I'm in the mountains or even where I moved here, finding different plants that I'm not used to that I can reuse. Like, I found that we had lilacs here, and I really wanted lilacs for some kind of edible flower that I could use. God, check this out. I love living where I live right now. I love it here. I don't know if I even showed that enough, but just a horse and wagon going down the street, and it wasn't like an Amish or anything. It's just old cowboys on their wagon, following their big horses, which I know what kind of horses are. I grew up around a lot of horses. My grandparents had horses. We never did. We had yaks and water buffalo. But yes, you could have yaks and water buffalo. But yaks, water buffalo. We had a lot of goats, chickens, geese, pigeons. That's all. We tried pigs for a little bit, but whenever we were sold them and they got some disease, they like came to us sick or something, and after that we were kind of disappointed and never tried them again. But we did a lot of goats. I grew up raising goats, milking them. We had a bunch of meat goats we ate too. So yeah, this was just the normal life that I'm just used to. And so it's been hard as my adult life of being able, it's harder to get to that. And it's like, you know, your parents have worked hard for that, but it almost seems impossible at this point to get to that point in life. But I'm just praying and trusting God, because He's kind of led us so far. Wherever we need to be, we found a house. Wherever we needed to be, we've had opportunities in the big scheme of things. And when I don't, it just means that we're not supposed to be doing stuff, which is sometimes really hard to come to terms with. You want something so bad. No, this is a pretty good lighter. They're just a dollar store ones, so nothing fancy. Yeah, we're like getting down there in fuel, but it's fine. It still works. But yeah, if you guys have made through my jibber jabber this long, awesome. I just wanted to get on and just talk life, gardening. Things don't need to be perfect. Just start where you can. But yeah, what are you guys planting in your gardens this year? Or maybe you haven't. Whatever's going on, you can't plant a garden. What would you want to be planting if you could? And at least kind of dream about it. Or just go get one plant again. You don't even need a full garden. Go, if you just feel like it's impossible this year, you don't even know what, go get one tomato plant, plant it in a pot, put it outside your window, do what you need to, and take that one plant. Also, if you're like me and you forget to do stuff, either make it like that morning routine, or if it's hard to even make that morning routine, put a reminder in your phone and have it be like every day or every 2 days, however often you want to water it. Probably once a day is a little too much. You know, maybe every 2 to 3 days. Start there, but just put a reminder in your phone. And every day it can just become that, like, or, you know, whenever it needs to be, that constant thing. Because if I don't have that in my phone, either something that's like, okay, every morning I need to go out and water or do this, or have something, like, I just don't get it done. Like my houseplants, they're very hardy, they don't die, but they never get water. So they're like in like dormancy mode, I swear. And not getting past that, but yeah, they're troopers in there. But my garden gets a lot of love, because they actually provide me with food and more projects, which I like. My houseplants just sit there and be pretty, and I guess filter the air, but yeah. But anywho, let me know again what you're planting down below. I will see you guys hopefully next week if everything goes good. I've been in a good mood, a good mode of planting, so hopefully I can keep this all up. But yeah, hopefully you guys have a great day, great night. God bless.